Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I bring you an emotional new episode in the story of Ly Hoai Ca and Hùng. After months of peace, Hung's mother suddenly returns, bringing with her old memories and mistakes that were never forgiven. Will Hung be calm enough to face the woman who once hurt him so deeply? And what about Hoai Ca, the woman caught in the middle? What will she do when love and the past collide all at once? Everything will be revealed in today's video. So make sure to watch till the end to feel every emotion of this episode. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment to tell me how you feel about it. That afternoon, dark clouds rolled in, covering the sky like a heavy blanket about to burst into rain. Cold gusts of wind hissed through the bamboo rows, sweeping up dry leaves along the roadside, carrying with them the earthy scent of damp soil. The world seemed to darken, lit only by the faint, flickering glow from the lamp under Mrs. Ha's porch. She had just returned from the market, her shirt still dotted with raindrops, a basket of vegetables in hand. Just as she reached for the gate, she froze. A middle-aged woman was standing there, quietly waiting. The woman wore a faded dark coat, her hands clasped together, hair slightly disheveled and swaying in the wind. Her face was both familiar and strange, something about it tugged at a deep memory, making Mrs. Ha's heart tighten unexpectedly. The woman's eyes were firm yet shadowed by something unspoken, as if she were hiding a fear too heavy to name. For a few long seconds, the two women just stared at each other, surrounded by the rustle of leaves and the first drops of rain tapping softly on the tiled roof. "You're here again?" Mrs. Ha finally spoke, her tone calm and steady, though her gaze betrayed a flicker of caution. "I told you last time Hoai Ca and Tony aren't home." She set the basket down, brushed off her hands, and crossed her arms, waiting for a response. The other woman pressed her lips together. Her eyes dropped to the ground, and when she finally spoke, her voice trembled as though it might shatter with the next gust of wind. "I just want to see them. I'm Hung's mother." The air seemed to stop moving. Mrs. Ha stiffened, her hand curling unconsciously into a fist. The rain grew heavier, pounding rhythmically on the roof like a drumbeat echoing the weight of silence between them. A flash of lightning lit the woman's face, pale, worn, yet strangely resolute. "I'm Hung's mother." The words echoed in Mrs. Ha's mind, drowning out even the howling wind outside. Neither spoke again. Only the rain continued to pour, blurring the line between past and present, between anger and something quietly reaching out for understanding. Mrs. Ha stared at the woman for a long moment, her eyes cold and laced with suspicion. Hung's mother? The one who left her own son with a mountain of debt, who made him scrape by for years, paying off what wasn't his, while enduring shame and gossip from everyone around him. Her tone was even, but every word struck like a blade, forcing the woman before her to lower her head. The woman, Mrs. Hung, trembled. Her thin hands clutched tightly at the hem of her coat, eyes fixed on the rain-streaked tiles beneath her feet. Her voice came out in a broken whisper, carried away by the chill wind that swept through the porch. "I know. I was wrong. Every day, every night, I think about him. I just want to buy back the house, to make things right with my son, even just a little." "Make things right?" Mrs. Ha cut in sharply, her voice cool, her gaze piercing. "If you truly cared, you wouldn't have let your son bear all that guilt for you. You wouldn't have let Hoai Ca cry herself dry, ashamed, heartbroken for her husband. And now you come back, thinking you can patch up those wounds? Or will you just make everything fall apart again?" The air inside the small house thickened. Rain hammered against the tin roof, each drop sounding like an accusation. The scent of dampness filled the air, biting cold to the bone. Mrs. Hung said nothing, her shoulders shaking. She wiped her tears, but the more she wiped, the more they came. "I just want to see him," she stammered, her voice quivering. "Just once. If I could see that he's living in peace, I could die content." Mrs. Ha's stern gaze softened slightly. She knew some wounds never heal, and some people only have enough strength left to ask for one last chance. After a long sigh, she said quietly, "If you truly mean it, let me speak to Hung first. Don't go to Hoai Ca again. That woman has suffered enough." Please, don't make her carry any more pain. Outside, the rain kept falling, steady and relentless, as if fate itself were whispering a reminder. Between the two women, the anger had faded. All that remained was silence, heavy with regret, and the sorrow that words could never mend. At the provincial hospital, the soft evening sunlight streamed through the window, spilling gently across the bed where little Tony lay. Beside him, Hoài Ca sat patiently, blowing on a spoonful of porridge before feeding it to her son. Each time the boy opened his mouth obediently, his clear eyes full of trust, she couldn't help but smile, a small, tender smile that carried all the warmth of a mother's love. Suddenly, the quiet was broken by the sound of her phone ringing. She glanced at the screen. It was Mrs. Ha. Her heart skipped a beat. Quickly wiping her hands on a towel, she picked up the call. Her foster mother's voice came through, tinged with both worry and hesitation. "Dear, today I met Hung's mother. She came to the house, said she wanted to see you." For a moment, Hoài Ca froze. The spoon trembled slightly in her hand, a drop of porridge falling onto the white blanket. "She came looking for me?" she asked softly, almost afraid to hear her own words. Mrs. Ha explained everything, how the woman appeared at the gate, saying she wanted to buy back the house and see her son just once. Hoài Ca listened silently, without interrupting. Each word felt like a gentle tap against the locked box of memories she had buried deep within herself. "Don't worry, Mom," she finally said, trying to keep her voice calm. "She probably just came to check in. I'm fine, really." There was a brief silence on the other end before Mrs. Ha spoke again, her tone softer. "All right, as long as you're okay. I just don't want the past to hurt you again." When the call ended, Hoài Ca set the phone down on the table. Her palms were damp with sweat. She turned to look at Tony, still smiling innocently, blissfully unaware of the heaviness in his mother's heart. Her eyes grew blurry. Old memories flooded back like a film running in reverse. The days she was humiliated, rejected from the very home she once called her own. The cold words, the disdainful stares, and that rainy night when she carried Tony away in despair. It all returned, painfully vivid. She took a deep breath, trying to swallow her tears, but her voice still trembled as she whispered, "My son, if one day you understand everything, remember this. Your mother once did everything she could to keep this family together." The sunset light fell across her face, weary yet unwavering. The quiet strength of a woman who had been hurt countless times and still chose forgiveness over hatred. That night, the cold wind slipped through the window cracks, carrying the lingering dampness of the afternoon rain that still clung to the leaves outside. The faint yellow glow of a desk lamp filled Hung's small office, casting long shadows over stacks of paperwork piled high. The ink on the unfinished documents had already begun to blur. He hadn't been able to focus for hours. The phone on his desk vibrated softly, its screen lighting up in the dark. When he saw the name Mrs. Ha, he froze for a moment before slowly picking up the call. His foster mother's voice came through, rough and weary, as if she'd spent the whole day weighed down by worry. "Hun, I met your mother today. She came to the house, said she wanted to see you and Hoài Ca." The room fell silent. Even the wind outside seemed to fade away, leaving only the sound of his own breathing and the heavy thump of his heart. Hung gripped the phone tightly, staring blankly ahead, his gaze cold and deep like a winter lake. "She came back?" he asked, his voice low, almost trembling. "Yes." Mrs. Ha hesitated for a moment, but when she heard you were away on business, she left again. "I think maybe she's not ready to face you yet." Her voice trailed off into a quiet sigh that stretched across the distance between them. Hung didn't respond. He just sat there, his hand slack around the phone, staring at the flickering desk lamp swaying slightly in the draft. The silence stretched on. The ticking of the wall clock echoed in the still room, slow, deliberate, painfully clear. He set the phone down, leaning forward slightly. The dim light revealed the lines etched deep around his eyes, marks of sleepless nights, of years burdened by work, and of wounds that had never fully healed. He closed his eyes, and the memories came rushing back. The day she left, the house had felt empty, hollow. He was still young then, drowning in debt, clinging to the hope that his mother would return. But month after month passed with nothing, only the knock of debt collectors, the whispers of gossip, and the pitiful looks of those who thought they understood. He told himself he had moved on. But just hearing that she had returned was enough to bring it all crashing back, the ache in his chest sharp as ever. He reached for his phone again and dialed Hoài Ca. After a few rings, her voice came through, soft, tired, with the faint sound of wind echoing through the hospital hallway behind her. "Stay at the hospital with Tony," he said quietly, forcing calm into each word. "Find a place nearby to rent for now. Don't come home. I have a bad feeling about this." There was silence on the other end, and then the faint sound of her drawing in a shaky breath before replying. "Okay, I understand." Her voice was small, almost lost in the wind, but he could still hear the weight trembling behind it. Hoài Ca knew Hung wasn't afraid of trouble. He was afraid of the past pulling her back into its storm, afraid she'd be hurt all over again. And Hung, after ending the call, stayed there motionless, staring into the dark beyond the window. Outside, the night had deepened. Crickets chirped faintly beneath the steady rustle of wind sweeping through the banana grove behind the house. The curtain swayed, and his shadow stretched across the wall, uneven, lonely. He pressed a hand to his forehead, eyes shut tight, taking a long breath as if forcing every trace of anger and pain back into his chest. On the desk lay a small photograph, him, Hoài Ca, and Tony, neatly framed among the scattered papers. He gazed at it for a long time before gently brushing his fingers across their faces. A faint glimmer returned to his eyes, the quiet resolve of a man who had endured too much to lose again. No matter what the past brings back, he thought. No matter how fierce the storm this time, no one will hurt them again. That same night, as Hung finished sorting through the thick stack of documents on his desk, the room was bathed in the soft amber glow of the small desk lamp. Outside, the rain hadn't stopped. It drummed steadily on the tin roof, a rhythm that matched the tangle of thoughts running through his head. The phone buzzed suddenly, its screen lighting up his face. The name Tusan appeared. For a brief moment, Hung froze. That name carried so many memories, his gentle foster sister, the girl his mother had taken in years ago, who grew up beside him like family. He hesitated for a few seconds before answering. On Hung came Tusan's soft, uncertain voice. "Mom came to see me." Hung frowned, his hand hovering above the papers. "She saw you?" "Where?" he asked, his voice low and steady. "She came to my house," Tusan replied, her breath trembling slightly. "She said she's sorry, and she asked me to help her make peace with you, and with Hoài Ca too. She said she misses you. Mrs. Tony." I've never seen her cry like that before. A long silence followed. On his end, Hung said nothing. He just sat there, listening to the sound of rain beating softly against the window pane. The lamplight flickered in his eyes, deep, still, but heavy with unspoken emotion. After a few moments, he drew in a slow breath. His voice came out quiet, deep, as if he were speaking to himself. "I don't hate her. I never did. But I don't know if I still have it in me to forgive." Tusan said nothing. Hung's gaze drifted to the small picture frame on his desk, Hoài Ca holding Tony, and himself standing behind them, smiling under the sunlight. That image softened him, and yet made the ache inside him even sharper. He paused, voice turning rough, "I just worry that forgiveness would open old wounds. She once raised us, taught us how to live right, but she's also the reason Hoài Ca suffered so much. I might be able to forget, but she can't." Tusan's voice broke a little. "I think she's truly sorry now. Tonight she cried while talking about you. She said she just wants to see you once, even from afar." Hung tilted his head back, closing his eyes. The sound of the rain blended with his slow, heavy breathing. "I'll respect Hoài Ca's choice," he said firmly, though his voice carried exhaustion. "If she doesn't want to meet, I won't force it. As for me, I'm not ready. Forgiveness isn't something that happens overnight." There was a soft sob on the other end. "I understand," Tusan whispered. "I just hope that when you are ready, Mom will still be here to hear those words from you. Leaning back in his chair, Hung stared toward the window. Raindrops slid down the glass, glowing faintly under the lamplight. He watched them fall slow, endless, as if each drop carried a fragment of the past he couldn't let go of. A long sigh escaped him, dissolving into the quiet. The clock ticked faintly in the stillness, blending with the steady rain that fell through the night. He set the phone down, his eyes heavy with fatigue. Outside, the darkness deepened. The rain showed no sign of stopping. Inside, the light flickered softly across his face, that of a man who seemed calm and composed, yet in his eyes lingered a loneliness too deep to name. Stay tuned for the next episode. Has Hung's mother truly changed? After years of absence, carrying both guilt and resentment, she returns with a late apology. But is it enough to heal the wounds she once caused? And Hoài Ca, the woman who suffered so deeply, once cast out from the very home she called her own. How will she react when that same woman appears again? This time with tears in her eyes and a plea for forgiveness? Will Hung open his heart, or will he let the past bury whatever love still remains between them? All these questions will unfold in the next episode, where every glance, every word, holds an ache that cannot be hidden. Don't forget to leave a comment and share your thoughts below. Do you think Hung's mother is truly remorseful, or is this just another calculated return? And what about Hoài Ca? Will she be strong enough to forgive, or will the past remain a scar that never heals?
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì nhà mình đang có khách nên là nó hơi có ồn ào, nên là mình phải làm ở trong nhà, trong phòng mình đóng kín cửa rồi nhưng mà vẫn hơi ồn ào. Bây giờ thì mình đang làm video, tại vì cái màn hình là do lúc mình làm video mình hay nghe nhạc nên mọi người. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem video của mình nhé. Trưa đây hôm nay mình bị xoang lại thì mình khó chịu quá. Mình đang đặt tên video không biết là nên là đặt là gì. Không biết là sẽ đặt tên video là gì. Cái xoang mũi nó khó chịu quá mọi người ơi. Cái xoang mũi kiểu như này thì đâu có đi nâng mũi được phải không mọi người. Chứ mỗi lần ngứa mà nó như thế này thì hỏng hết mũi à.